Now, how about someone who's listening and they're saying, okay, I checked that box, but they're still wondering, is podcasting right for me? I have some thoughts on this, but I'd love to hear how you might answer that question.
Yeah. So I think it's right for everybody. Because if you really want to show up in search in today's modern search, it is almost required of you to have some sort of video content, have a true version of yourself, and show your potential clients and customers what it would look like working with you. And if you don't have those elements, they may move on to somebody who does, especially when they're looking for high trust individuals and they want to hear a little point of view, because secretly, and I think you'd be a great person to talk more about that buyer's journey from the perspective of a marketing piece in how long does it take for that sales cycle to close? And they're sitting here with a podcast, slowly building trust, slowly watching you, following you. And finally, once they're ready to make that transition and choose you, talk to us a little bit about what that buyer journey looks like to maybe make our audience understand why podcasting really truly is that solution.
Right. I mean, we know it's not linear. I mean, Tash, if you and I probably just think about ourselves hiring a professional, we would be Googling. We'd be watching, some YouTube shorts. And then, okay, I'll subscribe to you on YouTube. I'll watch a few of your videos. And then I'm getting more YouTube shorts in the meantime that make me think, oh yeah, that person. Okay. Yeah, maybe. And I'm still haven't made my decision, but I'm considering, look them up on LinkedIn, look at their profile, save some posts, look at the posts again. These are high stakes decisions. So they're not quick decisions. There's a lot of consideration that goes into it and a lot of questions that people want answered about what is it like to work with you? What are your values? That set of questions. And then another set of questions that they're really wanting to tap into some of your expertise beforehand so that they understand that you can serve them, that you understand what sort of guidance they need due to their profession, their this time in their life, all of those things that are part of that ideal client persona. So it takes multiple touch points, and then it takes multiple touch points just to fuel up the algorithm to begin with, but then to also be consistently reaching out to those prospective clients. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there anything you would add there?
Well, and building out your library of content takes a while too, right? You can have these conversations as a subject matter expert, but there's so many ways you can slice and dice it and look at those questions that you're commonly asked on a regular basis. And you look at your niche audience and go, okay, they're going to want to learn this. You have to make sure that you give all of this time to build and understand what performs, what doesn't perform. And are you getting that connection? Is this working? Are you getting more followers? Because the more followers you get, that means your audience is growing. So that's a win. And looking at the different things that really paint success for you as a podcaster. What are you trying to achieve? What are your goals? And that's where Proudmouth really helps navigate those questions that you may have is, are you just looking to build a broader audience? Are you using this more for lead gen? Setting those expectations. This isn't like running an ad. This is an ecosystem. And this is something that you have to put a lot of time, effort, and work into. And this is where Proudmouth really steps up the game and helps you get all of this across the finish line, because I can't imagine trying to do this all on your own. That's a full-time job, if not 3 in itself. And that's why we hear such great feedback from our clients, because it allows them to still have full-time careers and focus on what they're doing, but get their thought leadership out there in a way that's meaningful and actually see visibility from this. And again, I can't stress enough that algorithm and feeding it and fueling that fire. if you don't get on this new, if you want to call it trend, you can. But if you don't start working towards what marketing is asking you to do, it's like the people who didn't optimize their websites for SEO. They're not being found. You need to make sure that you are understanding what the impacts are of creating this type of system versus I'm just there to podcast and I'm going to, try this out. And if I like it, I'll continue. This isn't a stop and start type system. This is my strategy. I'm going after it. Both feed in. And I'm committing to making sure that I take my part and hold myself accountable to showing up with intent, just like you would when you're meeting with a client, and then responding back to a lot of those posts in different socials in the same way that you would treat a client. So if you could think of Proudmouth and your whole ecosystem like a client, the relationship will be phenomenal.
Yeah, and you're setting yourself up by podcasting to make continual deposits to support that buyer journey just around the clock. Because Tasha, it seriously breaks my heart to think about people quitting podcasting because they don't see the traction. And the thing is, we can't see everything. No one can see everything that's happening. You can't see that prospective client out there who's thinking about hiring you and is like on the brink of it. And suddenly you stop your podcast and you're not there. Mm-hmm. So it takes a bit of faith and trust in the process as well. Tash, I think a lot of people count themselves out of podcasting. They assume that they don't have the podcaster personality, or they're almost waiting to be recruited into podcasting. They're looking for some sign that they should start their own show or for someone to tell them that they should. And then even when someone tells them, oh, no, I don't know if I can do that. And that's so human to think that way, to maybe underestimate our own knowledge or worry about, oh, no one would listen to me. I don't know if I could be on my own show. But from what you're really driving home, Tash, is it's really becoming essential to be showing up. And I think we all give ourselves too much criteria. Like, if I check all these boxes, I will be a great podcaster. And if you care about educating clients and you care about your visibility, come start a podcast. Like, this is the sign to start a podcast. It doesn't need to be any more complicated or detailed than that.
And if you're passionate about what you do, showing up with that type of excitement and genuine love for what you do is going to transpire through your words, through your content, and also set yourself up to succeed in the sense of, when you're posting things, you don't need everybody to like it. You don't need everybody to agree. And that's okay. You have to be confident in what you do and just put it out there. You don't know until you try. You don't know what works, what doesn't work until you do it. And the one piece of advice that I can give to somebody if they're scared is do this scared. Yeah. Just do it. Both feet in, do it scared, and start to be unscared. We tell our children that. We tell, our friends that when they're scared, and we're consoling and comforting them into talking them into a situation. We do that with our clients, right? We educate them. And that's what we can do here at Proudmouth, is help educate you on the fact that this isn't something that you need to be scared about. You just need to go in, both feet forward, try your best, and always be looking to improve every single time you record. If you can learn something every time you did it, you're winning. I look at Kirk's conversations back when Kirk and Matt started the TAM podcast, and their original recordings were caca poo poo. They're not their best work. They're not thoroughly proud of that work, but they started somewhere, and they started to build a rapport and they started to build an audience. You have to start somewhere in order to be visible. And it may take you some time to get there, but if you don't start, you're not going to be seen. So do it scared. Know that you're going to improve. Everybody does. And consider us kind of like your personal trainer, holding you accountable. And if you can show up energized and excited and lean into us with all of the questions that you have, there's subject matter experts in every area. And we're here to help. We want you to thrive. We want you to be successful. And we want to make sure we're having lots of touch points with you. So you're not in this alone. It's not a service. It's a full-blown solution. And we're your partner.
Tash, I think the root of some of that fear and hesitation is the reason why some people are wondering, oh, do I need video? Because they're just not comfortable with the idea of showing up on camera. And I would say, don't wait to feel comfortable. Like, being comfortable doesn't mean you're ready to start video. Most people aren't comfortable recording their first video, but it's about being willing and open-minded to do it, understanding the importance of it and going for it and having that experience, knowing that you're going to get better and better every time. So I'd say, yes, stop waiting to feel comfortable and stop waiting to feel ready, because you're waiting for something that's not going to happen. It's a little bit of procrastination. Tash.
Mind over matter. If you think about your first meeting with your client, you step into a new profession, you're taking on your first client. Maybe you had a mentor with you along the way. You know, if you think of it like podcasting, you have a producer like your mentor, overshadowing, making sure everything is going well. It is no different than when you started out at the very, very beginning. And you might have felt super comfortable with it, your first one, and you're excited and there's all those emotions, or you were terrified and afraid to stumble and afraid to say the wrong thing. And you want to come across super professional to that person sitting in front of you. The beauty of podcasting is we can edit things in and out. You're not sitting in front of somebody directly. We can take pieces of it out. You can mess up. You can say, can we remove that? Can I start over? It is just putting yourself into that uncomfortable situation and overcoming that, because I can guarantee right now when you have a client call and you're coming to us as a subject matter expert, you don't feel any sort of fear or nerves meeting with new clients. You know exactly what to say, how to say it, and you're actually going to be talking about things that you talk about every single day. If you can put that into your perspective a little bit better, this doesn't seem as scary as it is. And you're so right. We are our own worst enemy with talking ourselves out of something and procrastinating and saying, I can't do that. And that imposter syndrome kind of coming into play. If you do that, you're holding yourself back from different possibilities. So know what you're kind of putting on the line is really important. Because you're afraid to do something, you need to make sure that you understand what the weight of that carries and the repercussions of it.
And that's exactly where I wanted to go, because before a prospective client decides to work with one of these, a high trust professional, you want to see that person, don't you? You're about to share some of the most intimate, private details of your life. You want to see them. You want to feel like you're having a conversation with them. And then when you're on YouTube, having your face on YouTube, on your thumbnail, in the video, is the difference between someone clicking on your video and someone not clicking on it, because we are wired to be attracted, to pay attention to human faces. When we see you looking, professional, but likable, credible, okay, that's a great first impression. I want to click on you and listen to you. When you're not doing video, there's a lot more barriers and friction when it comes to being discovered, but also making that strong impression.
It's very true. And put yourself in that perspective as well. So, how many of you have sat and scrolled through your phone late at night and ended up down a real rabbit hole? Okay, we've all been there. We've all done that. That's how discoverability happens. And that's why we make sure that we do video shorts. It grabs somebody's attention, which drives you to long form content. So that's why it's important that you have the long form content and the short form content. But when you capture that person's attention, you let them sit with that for just a few seconds, for under a minute, and they decide if they want to watch more or they don't want to watch more. And, you feed that algorithm as well because you maybe watched the full length. So the algorithm says, well, they liked that. Or maybe if they liked it or they looked at the comments and scrolled through it, that is signaling that that was something that user liked. So it's going to feed you more. So every time you're posting shorts, you're going to start showing up on people's feeds. When you start seeing your audience growing, people are liking, subscribing, and following you in different formats, you're creating fans. And once you start to create these fans and you have created this type of space that people want to see your knowledge and listen to you and value what you're saying, and they have a connection with you, because we crave human connection in this world of fast-paced AI, and we don't trust a lot of the things that we read. Video works so well to be able to differentiate what's real and what's not and create that emotional connection. And that's why I love podcasting so much. I've worked in so many different marketing atmospheres and different types of marketing tactics. And this one just really checks every single box. This creates that trust in a space that not only your industry is craving that high trust, the whole planet is moving in this direction. We all are going, is that AI? How did they create that? Did they do it through ChatGPT? Did they do it this way? It is always questioning. So if you are organically getting people following you, those are all wins across the board. They like you. They are trusting you. They are following you. They are sharing things with other people. They're not going to share content with somebody else unless you resonated with them. And if you think of your views, say you get 300 views on something. If you were to talk about something in a meeting setting, or you brought some people into an event, 300 people listening to you speak, what would be the value of that? And this is the majority of our clients are seeing all net new people that are searching exactly for what you're talking about and searching in the way you're talking in conversations. Because again, we're searching in a manner that is very triggered to ask a question the way we would ask it. And clearly your answers are showing up the way that they're asking the question. So how powerful and how cool is that at the end of the day? Like, better fits. You're going to get better fits. You're going to get people that are choosing you because they naturally want to choose you.